Good morning, children. Let's continue with the lesson. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Okay. Now, we have already done the first stanza. Okay. Where the ship, okay, uh, the ship has now, come to the harbor. Okay. And they can hear the bells, church bells ringing. The people are all very happy because America has been liberated. Okay. Now, but the tone suddenly changes. Okay. It becomes, the um, tone becomes, more of, sadness creeps in because on the deck, okay, on the deck, the captain can be seen, lying, and there can be, drops of blood, okay, falling on the deck, and the captain is now uh, cold and dead. Okay, now let's come to the second stanza. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you the bouquets and ribbon wreaths, for you the shows are crowding, for you they call the swaying mass, the eager faces turning. Dear Captain, dear Father, this arm beneath your head, it is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. Okay, so the sailor here is now pleading, imploring with the dead captain to rise up from the dead. Okay, the reason is that the people are all there to welcome him on the shore. Okay, and they are waiting their prize captain to lead the way and stamp his mark on history. The crowd is very, very jubilant and they celebrate the victory. How do they do it? They are raising the flag, they're holding flowers, and they're cheering for the captain. The crowd is becoming very, very restless. Okay, and as anticipation rise, in order to catch the glimpse of their dear captain, the ship's captain, but of course, he's no longer with them. Okay, now the sailor is taking the dead captain in his arms. Okay, and calls the captain as his father, as he, Abraham Lincoln, is considered to be the father of the nation. The captain cannot feel his arm as he is dead. The sailor looks at the fallen captain and just wishes that all these were just a nightmare. Okay, he just wishes that the captain was not dead. But of course, as reality sets in, the sailor realizes that after all, the captain is dead. Okay, now throughout the poem, we find the rhyming scheme is the same. That is A, B, B, C, D, E, D. Okay, look at this here. Okay, now, so bells, trills, A, crowding, turning, B, father, C, head, D, deck, E, then again dead. So that is D. So rhyming scheme here is A, B, C, D, E, D. Then come to the rhyming words. Okay, so it's bells, trills, crowding, turning, head, and dead. Okay, now let's come to the figures of speech. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills. Okay, now the figure of speech here is alliteration because the sound of letter F is repeated. Look at that, flag, flung. Okay, then again, it is also repetition because the words for you are repeated. Look at this, for you, rise up, for you, the flag is flung, for you, the bugle trills. It is also repetition because the words for you are repeated. Then next one, you have fallen cold and dead. Okay, Now, cold and dead are used in the same line. They have the same meaning. So this is tautology. Now, let's come to the third stanza. My captain does not answer. His lips are pale and still. So, the captain is not answering. The sailor is trying to call him, okay, but the captain is not answering because he's dead. That is why his lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm. He has no pulse, no will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip, the victor ship comes in with object won. Exalt her shores and ring, O bells, but I with mournful tread walk the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. Okay, so here the sailor is looking at the dead captain in pure sadness, in pure agony. He finds that the lips have become very, very pale. Of course, this suggests that he is dead. The captain fails to respond to his cries of helplessness. The sailor tries to call his captain, but he's not responding. The liveliness from the captain's face has waned now. His pulse is stopped and he's unlikely to move from now on. Okay? So, as he's dead, he's not going to move. The ship has landed safely in the harbor with its anchor thrown in. Okay? So, the ship has landed in the harbor and the anchor has also been thrown in. And the voyage is complete. Okay? And America has won the war. The sailor reminisces about the trip to be extremely arduous, but the mission was successful. So the sailor says that the trip was very, very tedious and tiresome, but of course their mission was successful. In the concluding lines of the poem, explicit the fact that the sailor has some bad news to share with the waiting crowd. Okay, so towards the end, okay, there's a pall of gloom because the sailor wants to share some bad news to the crowd that has been waiting. He appeals directly to the loud jeers, cheers, and the ringing bells for the much awaited captain. Again, the poet uses synecdoche to represent the entire American audience at large, as the poem relates to the death of the President Abraham Lincoln. The sailor feels uncomfortable and confused as he needs to relay the bad news to the populace at large as the victory celebrations come to a standstill eventually. Okay, so the sailor doesn't know, he's totally confused. Okay, whether he is to convey the good news or the bad news at the same time. The good news that they have won the war, and the bad news that the captain is dead. So here the sailor is very, very uncomfortable and confused as he has to share the bad news of the death of the captain to the people who have been waiting, okay, to welcome their captain. Okay, now let's come to the rhyming scheme. Okay, look at this. We have still will, AA, done one, BB, bells, C, tread, D, lies, E. Then again dead is D. So the rhyming scheme is AA, BB, C, D, E, D. Then come to the rhyming words. What are the rhyming words? Still will, done one, tread, dead. Okay, then let's come to the figures of speech. His lips are pale and still. Okay, so pale and still have the same meaning, so they are used, okay, the same line for better poetic effect, so it is tautology. Next one, the ship is anchored safe and sound. Okay, so it is alliteration because the sound S is repeated. So safe, sound is repeated for better poetic effect. Next one is exalt or shows. Okay, now it is personification because the shows are given the human quality of blowing trumpets of victory. Okay, so exalter shows us personification. Now, again, in this poem, the poet has used visual imagery, okay, such as cold, then dead, then we have lips are pale and still, then we have bleeding drops of red and mournful tread. So, this imagery appeals to the five senses of the reader. Okay, Whitman's choice of powerful words has made the reader visualize the death of the captain. So, through his powerful choice of words, the reader has been able to visualize the death of the captain. And again, as I said, the poem is an elegy. Okay, then the language here is metaphorical as well as figurative, and the tone of the poem is solemn. The poem is written in the honor of the American President Abraham Lincoln, and lots of implied meaning are used in the poem, like the ship is used for America, the captain for the President of the USA, etc. Okay, so children, I hope you understood this poem. Okay, thank you.